Hi guys, welcome back and welcome to another edition of the weekly roundup. I'm Mike.
I'm Erin.
And tonight we're taking a little bit of a low-key approach to things. We're going to tell you why. There's no armchair rancher. There is now. Tiny Hands may make an appearance soon because we did find the other hand.
Hey, we have an announcement. We found the other tiny hand.
The other tiny hand has been missing for a while. Lincoln had it stashed somewhere, didn't he?
Yeah, we've got these like little character couches. They're from Walmart. I don't know, we have 3 of them, and they fold out and the kids could sleep on them in theory. They're all too big for them, but he had a whole bunch of toys in it and his iPad and Paw Patrol stuff, and I was cleaning and I could see that there was stuff. He'd folded it back up.
He was stashing stuff.
He was stashing stuff, and there was the tiny hand. So they have been located and reunited. So
that's super cool. So yeah, Tiny Hands will probably be making another appearance as we move on. And I think this today is actually just very much kind of kick back and relax, kind of hang out with friends, and just kind of shoot the breeze kind of live stream. Just because we have been burning the midnight oil, for lack of better terms, between trying to get haying done, and of course, and we're going to talk about this, but Erin's isn't stopping. Today I finished up baling pretty much everything that I'm going to put up this year. I managed to find another 25 bales or so. So then we talked about in the last video, and for me, things will kind of turn back to normal here a little bit. I hear it all the way through haying season, especially from Mackenzie, not so much from Erin, but it's where are you? Why can't you be home more? That kind of thing. Because I really do try to get the kids and take them to the park and do all this kind of stuff. But when you're haying, it's 20 some days or 23. Well, I think Dave figured out it was 23 days of 16-hour days. So you don't see much of the kids. You don't really get to hang out with them much. So that's one thing that I really want to concentrate on now, as things are slowing down a little bit. I still have to move a ton of hay. I still have to clean all the hay equipment and get it all ready to put away and all that kind of stuff. But that's it's not time sensitive.
we're gonna take like the weekend and kind of chill, and then back at it on Monday.
Yeah, exactly. Erin's got some big stuff coming up here in the next week or so.
I have an event here at the ranch on August 4th, so I have 6 tickets still available.
So you're doing this is for your nonprofit, but you're doing brunch on the prairie type thing, so people can come out and hang out and eat.
And have brunch on the prairie in support of the Edible Prairie Project.
Is there anything else to it?
Yeah, we're gonna have kids games. We've got like giant yard dice, and it comes with some games.
Are people gonna be walking around the ranch and touring or anything like that?
I hope not. Like, there's weeds, and I kind of just yeah, people can see the gardens and stuff if they want. We're gonna have to do at least a rough cleanup. And it seems like there's always stuff that needs to be cleaned up, and so yeah, we'll kind of run through and polish things up just a little bit. But yeah, we're tired. I'm sick. I've caught a cold.
Yeah, the last couple of days have been a little rough for you, and we've it's the same old story. And if you've lived on a farm or a ranch, actually, if you've lived probably anywhere, in a house or a car, wherever you happen to be living, every time you turn around, there's something else that needs done, there's something else that needs cleaned.
Loads of laundry that need folded, and there's no groceries in the house, and we need a couple just housekeeping.
Like a reset day. It's kind of, that's how it feels for me. Is we you just go like crazy for almost a whole month, and then you just need a couple days to kind of reset and recalibrate, and that's what this evening is part of. We talked about, I was going to go out and do the, the armchair rancher thing, and go out and do the sponsor thing, and all that fun stuff that we do. But it's let's just.
You took a nap.
I did. I took a nap on the floor. Yeah, I was like, oh my god. I just kind of stretched out on the floor,
and Lincoln took a nap, and then I nudged him over in between customers at the store. I was like, it's hot out. I'm coming inside. It's been really hot this week too, which I think is just, it's draining. And then I do have a cold, which I think when you have a cold and it's hot out, it's
funny because I just. I had a cold for quite a while. It was bronchitis or whatever it was, and I'm finally getting over that.
Yeah.
And then you catch whatever you've
Lincoln.
got.
It's all Lincoln.
You're gonna blame him, huh?
He was the one that had the cold first. So, William Dunn, Erin, do you grow tomatillos in your garden? I have. They do get really, they grow like crazy. Sometimes the problem I have with stuff from market is like they wouldn't get as big as like what the grocery store ones would. And for like home use, that's fine. But for some reason, when I would take them to market, people would want bigger tomatillos, and they just weren't super crazy popular. But yeah, they grow like crazy.
They do. You had tomatillos coming up for like 2 years.
Yeah, and they
after you
reseed
stopped growing
they
tomatillos.
reseed themselves, so watch out for that because they will they will reseed themselves. So
Exactly. So I thought what we'd do tonight is just kind of hang out, shoot the breeze. You guys can kind of dictate where we're going, what we're talking about. You can ask questions. The moderators are going to be here, obviously, to help us keep things straight and keep questions flowing. But occasionally we like to do this where we just sit down and just kind of have there's no agenda, there's no topics, there's nothing like that. I think that we sometimes just need to sit down and hang out with friends, kind of thing. Dave and Tammy actually left this morning. Yeah, they left this morning. I think Tammy was here. I thought I saw her.
Yeah, I saw Tammy. Happy birthday, Tammy.
And it is Tammy's birthday today. She gets to spend, hours and hours and hours in a car with Dave on her birthday.
Yeah, they were going to drive to somewhere in Iowa.
Yeah, they are driving through Iowa right now. Cedar Rapids.
I was going to say Grand
somewhere,
Rapids.
I can't remember where they were trying to get to.
Somewhere
in Iowa. Yeah, they were trying to get
900 miles or something they were going to try and do today.
Yeah, I talked to them just a little while ago, and they were just a couple hours away from where they were trying to get to. So we have they've just left. We recorded a podcast with them last night. That part one of it will probably be tomorrow's podcast that comes out. And then also what we did during that podcast, which is pretty interesting. If you support us on Patreon or you receive the herd report, which doesn't cost you a thing, we recorded part of the podcast with 360 video and 360 audio, which is pretty cool. So if you can watch it and watch the podcast, but not only can you watch it and spin around and look at everybody sitting around the table and look at the walls and whatever else you want to look at, 360 audio was pretty cool because you can put on headphones and if you're looking this way and somebody says something behind you in the view of the camera, you actually hear it behind you. It's so crazy. So we kind of played around with that a little bit until the GoPro got too hot and overheated, and then that was the end of that. But
so if you haven't signed up for a herd report, go to our website and sign up for the herd report so that you can get access to that video.
Right, there's going to be a link for it in Monday's herd report, which is just a newsletter that we send out, kind of keep everybody up to speed on what's going on. And that will be an unlisted video, so if you don't have the link to that video, you can't watch it. So that will be something that's different and kind of just trying it out and see how it works. So definitely. So tonight, obviously, we're going to sit back, we're going to answer some questions, and we're just going to kind of bounce around. Like I said, moderators are going to keep track of questions too and be able to shoot them to us. And we might as well start with the P-Chicks. How are they doing?
If you follow us on Facebook or Instagram, you'll see we got 5 P-Chicks in, I don't know, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
18, 17 years ago. I don't know, a few weeks ago. And we got 5 of them. There was 4 that I am presuming are India Blues. That's what they look like. We had 1 that was either going to be a white or maybe a camo one, brown and white. It unfortunately very quickly got sick. Was fine in the morning, checked them at night. It was going downhill. It was cold. We warmed it. We electrolyted it and hydrated it. And unfortunately, that one did pass. So we were down to 4 peacocks and all the India Blues. And they're doing great. They seem fine. I was really, really surprised because it just happened very quickly. And they were like 10 days old. So I thought we were out of that
danger zone.
That newborn chicken peacock danger zone. But and of course, it was the one that was different. I have a horrible cough and like my voice is in and out. So
yeah, Erin wasn't even sure if she could do this tonight. Actually, she said that she just was having trouble even talking. So
unfortunately, we're down to 4 peacocks, but they look good. So.
Yep, exactly. Really, another chicken question. We let our chickens free range, but how do you get them back in the coop at night? They're pretty well trained. If we leave the light on in the chicken coop,
we don't have to do that.
Sometimes you have to. Yeah. Right now, we're actually training the new chickens on how to come out and how to go back in. Last night, that was kind of a fiasco. They didn't they got confused and didn't know where they were at.
So what we do is we have an enclosed chicken run. So they go there first, and they're separated from the full-size chickens until they get big enough. So they leave the brooder into the chicken run and enclosed chicken house part, and then we train them there. And so they're in a small area, and they're completely fenced in, so it's easy to herd them back in, and every night you just put them back in so they get used to it. And the ducks and the geese too, when we have those, now they are released to the wild.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun trying to chase them down.
The next few nights, like last night, you guys it was dark too, and that's the key I think too, is to go right at that like dusk when they're like ready to go in, but you can still see.
The big chickens are pretty well trained, as are the geese. You can yell from halfway across the yard and tell them to go to bed, and they'll just head right into the chicken house. So they're dumb, but they're they have that going for them. So
chickens want to go inside at night. Like it's instinctual for chickens to go in at night. It's the ducks and geese that are a little harder to get them trained. And the geese won't do it in the summertime. They go out to the pond, but in the wintertime they go in the chicken house.
And then we are still planning on redoing some of the chicken house and adding a little bit more fencing and stuff like that. Now that we got past haying, we could maybe get started in doing that. And
I said, like, when we talked about reinforcing the chicken, and we reinforced it, like we went and kind of fixed it up and put some more dirt and made it so you couldn't dig through it as easily. But I was like, if it doesn't get done at calving, it won't get done until after haying. And I was right.
You were right. You were right. Let's see. Are you going to be working on redoing the chicken area? Yes, Patricia, we sure are. Have you considered a fodder as an alternative for winter? Honestly, we've talked about doing a fodder system. We've talked to a couple companies about fodder. You could use it as a supplement somewhat to be able to do 5,000 pounds of fodder per day is a huge operation, obviously, to be able to feed everything with fodder.
And water, lots of water.
And it takes lots of water too, yeah. So there's, if we wanted to have a huge operation, the other issue is that you would spend all day making feed and feeding, unless you had some sort of automation type stuff. So it's something we're still playing with and looking at options on and how to, the best way to do it, because like I said, it could take up your entire day if you were, feeding, and then you've got to go replant and all this stuff, and it would be, it could be just an all day process. So we definitely have that kind of thing going when it comes to hay. And if you saw the last video about the way that the hay is laying out for us, I did go out and manage to bale about 25 extra bales today, and now I brought the baler back and I'm going to park it. But we did manage to up that 275 total tons that was in that video to 290 now, which helps out just a little bit. And if we preg check this fall, if we have empties there, and then we'll figure out, some older cows, that kind of thing. And then the plan is at this time, to reduce the herd some, and then have to buy either reduce it down to where we have to buy no hay, or reduce it down to where we just have to buy a small amount of hay if we have to. So that'll be interesting this fall. Luckily, we don't have to deal with it for a little bit.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, the cows are fine for now, so yeah.
Exactly. How's the girls' egg business doing? I haven't really...
They need to go get eggs
They need to go get eggs today.
Good.
Actually, when Dave and Tammy were here, they were a little bit spoiled, because weren't Dave and Tammy getting eggs?
No,
Oh, they weren't?
I've been making the girls.
Oh, they were still getting
I've been taking care of the eggs.
I've been out in a tractor driving around in circles for days and days and days. And today, as I'm driving around and I'm baling, and it was one of those days where you could tell you're getting towards the end of baling because things start to break towards the end. So there's in the baler, there's a sensor on each side of the baler, and that sensor makes sure that you're making an even bale. So you're putting hay on one side, and then you're putting hay on the other side. And the left-sided sensor stopped working at all. So all I had was the right side. So I kind of, I think the last 10 bales or so, I just kind of had to float it and kind of figure it out. So I have some bales that are kind of wonky and kicked off and stuff like that. But
They'll be fine.
Yeah, I ended up just kind of getting through it. And then it's like, okay, well, we're done, and come and park it and hide it behind the shop for a few days so I don't have to look at that stuff. But
it's dirty.
It is very dirty. It all needs clean.
Thank you, Houston Firefox. My contribution to hay bales matter. Thank you.
Hay bales do matter. You ask the cows what matters, they'll tell you hay bales. Yeah, for sure.
What animals would you get if you could get anything and it was not a problem? You literally have everything.
Tommy, that's a good question. Yeah, Erin would have everything, Tommy.
But I feel like we're missing goats.
Yeah, and we've had friends that have had goats, and they're always out, and you can never fence in a goat. And Sheep we've had before. We didn't really like
we've had
them too
sheep.
much. They're cute when they're little, but they get big, and eventually they're a giant pain in the butt. I would probably have and they're totally useless and pointless, but either some sort of donkey, or a miniature horse or something along those lines. I don't know why, I just think they're cute.
Yeah, like a little miniature. I would like a miniature donkey, not a full size. I would like a little tiny baby donkey.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, it'd just be fun to do. I have this vision of
an ostrich.
an ostrich. I have a vision of the farm store with a couple stalls next to it, with a petting zoo type thing. Maybe it's a baby calf and one or two baby calves, and then have a couple donkeys or something. So and maybe that's where you could have a goat or two. I don't know, but for people to be able to touch some of the ranch, that kind of thing. So I don't know.
We missed a super chat.
Did we miss a super chat? I'm sorry. Let me scroll back up. Chris Wilson, $20 towards the winter hat fund. I don't know if I want to think about winter yet. It's
hot today. I don't know why. I will, after the cold winter that we had, I will not complain about the heat, but it was nice to come in the air conditioning.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. How are the pigs doing? That's a very good question. Pigs are doing great. We had a funny story in the podcast about the pigs kept on escaping, but they are now, they're now in a lot bigger area than we've ever had pigs before. It makes it easier to clean, that kind of stuff. But a different kind of situation for the pigs, for me anyway, because they're not in as tight as an area, so I don't think they're quite as friendly as the other ones usually get, because I do have them in the other stalls were 16 foot by 16 foot, so when I'm in there with them, they're in there with me. These ones I can go in there and they can kind of, they scatter, they walk away, so they're not quite as friendly as the other ones have been, but.
They need their mud puddle filled up. It's dried up.
Well, yeah, that's good. Everything is drying up now. We haven't had rain in 10 days or so, and it's hot and it's very dry.
And windy. The wind is back.
Yeah, it's crazy because now, you can go down the road, a dirt road, and you're just kicking up dust like crazy. And a few days ago you wouldn't have been able to do that. So there's a lot.
You can see we're losing all of our green, and it stayed green really long for us. We don't usually make it to almost August with still green grass. So yeah, it was nice. You need to scroll down.
Oh, sorry, I was reading that.
You're way up.
I know. I'm just reading. I was just reading.
But yeah, so we're losing our green. It's turning into fire season rapidly.
Very rapidly. We had a neighbor that had a house fire here, a garage fire here recently. Yeah. We still don't know all the details on that, but they lost their house, they lost their garage.
Well, their house
sounds
is still
like
there, but
but water damage and smoke damage. It's not going to be good.
Yeah. Mike Wilder says we should get a llama. We actually had llamas when we had sheep.
We did. We had Dolly Llama and we had Tony Llama when we had sheep. And they're still around. We actually gave them to one of our neighbors up north.
Does she still have them?
She still has them. They're still up there running around. So,
excuse me.
They weren't friendly at all, though.
No,
they were just there. So, Patricia asked if you had any trouble with foxes in your area. Oh yeah, we have fox all the time. In fact, if you go back, there's a video from last year that's about predators on the ranch, and that's when we had that fox that came in and was taking out. Chickens left and right.
And a badger. So.
Yep. Super chat from JB Weld there. Any updates on the coal situation in Gillette? Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We actually found something out today.
Yeah, it's not approved yet. They had a hearing today. The company that owned the mines before the sale in 2017 is going to purchase them back.
They're going to buy back the mine.
Yeah, with special conditions and stuff. But a judge has not approved it yet. They extended the hearing out. So if you just Google Black Jewel coal mine, you can keep up to date on it.
It's like a soap opera, the whole thing. It's just, and how people ended up owning a coal mine that apparently didn't know what they were doing running a coal mine. It was just kind of weird.
It failed because of leadership and not because of global warming or coal is bad for the environment or anything like that. It's not the beginning of the end of the coal mine situation, but just really poor management of a company. So yeah, it sounds like good news. They do have to approve, the judge has to approve it and details have to be worked out from what the newspaper said today, but might be opening soon.
Are all the
back up.
people that lost their jobs are going to be able to come back?
I don't know. They said they might be coming back with reduced staff, and it's like 30 some mines or something. Only 3 are being bought at this point. So our 2 out here and then 1 back east. So not everybody from the company is going to get to come back to work, but out here at least it seems like our 2 coal mines that got shut down will get back up and running in some capacity. So
wow, that's crazy.
yeah.
Doug, hello from Utah. I've been enjoying your channel for a year now. Thank you
Doug.
very much, Doug. And then also another one here from Ben Newman. Anyone by you have any Scottish Highland cattle? I'm trying to think. I don't know if I've ever seen any around here.
Yeah, we had someone that came to farmers market for like 2 years.
Oh yeah,
and
they do grass fed. Is it grass fed?
Grass fed Highlands.
Yeah, they're over by Rosette or something. If I
don't
remember
know
right,
where
or
they're-
Moorcroft
I
or
can't
something like
remember.
that. So, yeah, they did pretty well with their beef. So.
They're cute. I mean, I don't. When people say like, what kind of, but when we talk about adding animals and stuff, like, I feel like we're at capacity. There's not much that gets me like super excited anymore. That's like, I need to have that. Like, Scottish Highland cows are super cute. We've got cows though.
We do. We have a lot of cute cows too.
Yeah.
Any advice on bully cows? We have a bully heifer who picks on certain heifers
rid
all
of
the
her.
time. Yeah, I mean, with those kind of cows, it is tough to change their behavior. It's very hard to change any cow's behavior.
She might do better with another herd. Like maybe somebody.
They do. There's been studies that cows have friends, cows have enemies. They have cows they don't like, just like we do, and it could just be a matter of it could be one cow that she's having trouble with. I mean. You could possibly try separating her off, which you may not be able to do that, but that would be an option. But
Maybe,
honestly, like once we have a cow, if we have a cow that learns how to jump cattle guards or walk cattle guards or jump fences or gets aggressive, that kind of thing, I always look at it as eventually it's going to become a bigger problem. You can't retrain them, obviously. We've had cows that just don't take calves. We've had cows that aren't good moms, and it comes down to that eventually somebody's going to get hurt.
Yeah,
and it may be her, it may be another cow, it may be you. So that's the way I like to look at things, that rather than risk it.
Yeah, I mean, you can be picky with your herd. Like, you don't just have to keep them because they're part of your herd. Like, they might fit in better with somebody else's herd. And
maybe that's an option. You might be able to trade her with somebody else.
Like 39, she's not 39 anymore, but she used to be 39. Like, she kind of was a snot, but she's kind of mellowed out. But, I mean, she'd throw beautiful bull calves every year, but she's gotten better. So it's kind of like, was it bad enough to get rid of her? No. She would jump fences. She would get out of corrals. Like, she was super claustrophobic. So if we ever have to pull a calf of hers, like, that's a bad situation.
Horrible.
But as she's matured, she's gotten better. So, but once they're like 3 years old and they haven't settled down, out.
Yeah, it does. It becomes a safety issue. So. Let's see. I'm missing super chats here. Steve Cameron, $20. Thank you very much.
Thank
from
you, Steve.
Harry Dairyman. I love that one. Harry just finished up mopping up after a house fire.
Was it your house fire?
I
it
hope
wasn't
not.
Yours.
Yeah, that's.
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you very much. And if it is yours, I feel really bad. Did I miss another one?
Yeah, Steve Cameron.
Yeah, Steve Cameron, $20.
Did you say that? Okay. Thank you, Steve.
And then another $6 from.
I thought you were working, Steve.
I thought he was too. Maybe he is working. So, it's.
Houston Fairfax contributing to Bully Cow Lives Matter. They do matter. They just might not fit in with your herd.
Yeah. Whatever happened to the cow with mastitis? So this is kind of a weird, just goofy story, but she's still here. She ended up getting kicked back out accidentally, got back in with the herd, and then we couldn't get her sorted off. So when we bring everybody back and preg check, she'll be going then. And then actually she'll probably be sold as a pregnant cow. So somebody else might actually pick her up to calve her. And because when we send cows to our when we sell cull cows, they'll actually preg check them for
and
us.
if we get a chance to pull her off, like before, like the bulls are out, obviously you guys have seen that, but she might come up empty too. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't surprise me if she was empty. So, if you get rid of any cattle, will you replace them in the spring? Well, that's a good question. If the lotto numbers hit, maybe.
Yeah. It's spraying cows in the spring is typically expensive.
And you're going to be buying bred heifers more than likely, and But last time we bought bred heifers, I think it was like $1,400 a piece or something like that for bred heifers. It was ridiculous what we ended up paying for those guys, and we needed them at that time.
And that was the plan. Like that was the plan all winter. And yeah, you buy them like in February, they calve in March. So
Yeah.
I don't think that will be happening this year. I mean, ultimately we have to run a lot of numbers, and we don't know how much we're going to get at auction yet anyhow. So for calves, so I think it's going to be a year that's kind of just like cut your losses, hold on to as much money as you can, and we'll reassess in 6 months, kind of a situation. So
from JB Weld, do you guys send your culls to auction? If so, would you consider filming the auction? So we have 2 different auction houses that we work with. There's one in Buffalo, Wyoming, which is about an hour away, and we sell calves in Belle Fourche, South Dakota. So culled cows usually go to Buffalo. Why? I don't know. That's just how we always did it. So that's how it works.
You don't get any money for them hardly anyhow. You get 60 cents a pound.
Yeah.
Maybe $1 a pound
if you're very lucky. Yeah.
If they're younger and pregnant. I don't know. We just took them to Buffalo. It was cheaper. It's shorter distance.
And excuse me, and filming it, that ultimately comes down to the auction house and who owns it and if they'll let us film. I did have a deal going last year with the one in Belle Fourche where I was going to go over there and film. We just couldn't get our schedules to line up. They only sell on certain days, and of course, we always had something going on that day. And I think it was actually Thursdays that they sold. Was it Thursdays they sold over there?
Yeah, that's what day calf sale is.
Yeah, and of course then we had live streams half the time, and it was like, I was just trying to figure out how to do it. So
it was not Harry Dairyman's house. He's a volunteer firefighter.
Oh, okay,
Good
that
to
makes
hear
sense. That makes sense. So this house that's next door to us over here in the subdivision, it caught on fire one day. They sent
Yesterday.
out yesterday they sent out everybody and their dogs to put it out, and then this morning it was on fire again. So it was it flared back up. So from Trevor, hi from Louisiana. I bet you it's been hot down there. Looking forward to seeing you in August. Been doing barn projects all day. Bad sunburn. Ooh, yeah. Don't take care of that sunburn. That's not good.
Don't get the skin cancer. Get the sunscreen cancer, but not the skin cancer.
You got to choose which one you want. Yeah, for sure. So, Nicholas wants to know how the store is going. How is the store going? I didn't even step foot in the store today, so I don't know.
Yeah, I got it taken care of. It's good. Maybe you could start pulling your weight a little bit.
Maybe.
It's fine. Everything's been good. So, I did see, this was like a long time ago, and I don't even know who asked the questions, but somebody asked if I missed farmer's market. I do, but like it's a lot less stressful. Like we would have been like weeks into market season. I would have spent all day washing vegetables today. Like now I do that on Mondays for the basket program for the nonprofit. I don't know, it's different. It's just a different routine. Oh, there's a bug. I have a lot of millers and moths, and a little tiny one just flew through. But yeah, it's a different routine, and I'm adjusting. I do miss it. I haven't had a chance to go to the market. But yeah, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't miss the stress. Like I don't miss I mean, I still am working just as much, but I don't miss my crazy Thursday and Fridays. Do you miss it? And Saturdays?
I like the fact that, when we went to market, we would pick on Thursdays, and then those vegetables wouldn't be sold until Saturday.
Yeah.
So now but there's zero mileage on it.
Yeah.
On everything that you sell at the farm store. I mean, it goes from here a few hundred feet over to the farm store, and then that's where it's sold.
So what's happening now is like I pick on Monday because now we're in basket program. So for the next 9 more weeks, I have 20 baskets that we deliver to town with myself and other producers for the nonprofit. So we're doing that. So I pick on Monday and we bundle my 20 bundles of whatever, and like we picked extra carrots, so cool, we'll just bundle them up while we're washing and stuff. They go to the farm store. Tuesday I still didn't have enough stuff, like I had more stuff that was ready, that goes to the farm store. I'm out of cabbage, like I sold my last cabbage, so tomorrow I'll go pick a couple cabbage. It'll take me 5 minutes to go pick 2 cabbage, wash them, stick them in the farm store. When those are sold, I'll go get more. Like it's just different. It's not like picking 20 cabbage. I mean, I do that on Monday. Like I do our big wash day on Monday now, but I don't know. It's just different.
Yeah, but it's
So-
not bad.
No, I'm enjoying. It feels like just way less stressful. So
Do you guys have any more YouTube collaborations in the work? We do actually, and we're still taking suggestions. If you know of a channel or something like that would like to come on our live streams and hang out with us, we're more than willing to take those suggestions. But we do have some musical guests actually coming up here, hopefully starting next week. Names that you're going to know, and being able to dig back in that old radio background.
We kind of like did a little office work the other day. Well, David. Dave and Tammy were finishing up a project and kind of like
they were moving hay, and we had a chance to get something done.
Well, and we had to clean the studio so that we could film the
podcast.
the podcast. So we were kind of chatting and trying to get back on track because we've been kind of neglecting the business side of the YouTube channel. So yeah, we're gonna get some collaboration stuff going and planning.
It is tough during haying. It's almost like, for me, it's frustrating because I'm stretched in 5 different directions anyway, and then in haying I'm stretched that way, and there's not much give, and that's where it's frustrating for me because but having Dave and Tammy here actually did help quite a bit, and being able to still get done what needed to get done for the channel and for our Wyoming Life and for you and everything else. So it's been
I get a little neglected, like some of my projects.
They do.
But it was nice having Dave and Tammy because like once in a while it's just like I just needed a second set of hands and we were able to get stuff done, and
Yep, exactly. Somebody mentioned bison, and it's tough to go from cattle. The infrastructure is totally different. Obviously, you need a lot bigger fences, you need stronger fences, you need bigger cattle guards, you need all new cattle working facilities. So even having, I talked to a guy that here in town that thought it would be a good idea to get one buffalo. That's what he wanted to get. And he was like, biggest mistake ever. He said either go all the way and change your entire infrastructure, or just don't, because he got one buffalo, put it in with his herd, which was fine because he wanted to do the beefalo thing, which is a cross between buffalo and regular cows. And but that buffalo, he said, that bison took 95% of his time. Fences, they just step over cattle guards. They don't even care. They're just like, oh yeah.
And fence, all of our 5-foot
Yeah,
fence,
they would just step over fence. Yeah, it'd be
when we, where we process our steers and Sturgis, our steers and our pigs, like they do buffalo too, and they've said we hate doing buffalo because it will tear up their chutes and their holding facilities and stuff. They hate when they get buffalo, so they don't like to do them. So they're it's hard to tell from pictures, but they are substantially bigger, larger than a cow. Like even the bison cows, the females are bigger than. I mean, they're more comparable to like what a bull is.
Yeah.
And then the bulls are even bigger. So, did you see the video of that girl in Yellowstone being thrown by a bison?
I did not see that.
Her parents ran, and the 9-year-old got thrown by a bison.
Her parents ran away and left the kid.
Don't let your kids play with the bison.
Don't get out of your car in Yellowstone. Nick and Stephanie drove through there not too long ago, and they said they couldn't. They were watching some people taking photographs and walking
their small
right up to
children,
them.
like our kid, like Mackenzie's age. Don't do that.
Yeah, not a good idea. Don't pick up the wildlife. Don't mess with them either. From Cody, how did you learn about cattle behavior? I'm looking to get a job started as a ranch hand. Yeah, honestly.
Beef Cattle for Dummies.
Yeah, there's a book, Beef Cattle for Dummies. I should contact the author because I've promoted this book a lot, but that was the first one I got. And then, just being around them and learning how they think and how they move.
Didn't we buy like a DVD series on how to like move cattle? Like after we were like a year or so into it, we're like, we don't know what we're doing and we can't figure this. And we did.
I think I vaguely remember DVDs, or something like that.
Just watch YouTube videos on cattle behavior.
Yeah, there's a few good instructors out there that have videos on how to do stuff. We're actually looking at. We have a great partnership coming up with a company called Aeroquip, and they manufacture cattle chutes and gates and pens and all this kind of stuff. And we're actually in the process of working with them and actually putting out our own series on cattle handling techniques. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Just learn the cow bubble. Like learn the
That's
bubble.
the big thing, and learning where you can step and how a cow thinks, and their body language, all this stuff we're going to cover as well with Aeroquip in their series. But it's just you can read about stuff until your eyes fall out, but there's nothing like being there and actually doing it and doing it safely as well. So just if you're gonna you're going to work on that, just be careful. But make sure you have the fundamentals down before you go in. But you're not going to learn how to shoot a basketball without holding a basketball.
Yeah.
So
somebody asked Mike Wilder, I think, if there's a bison ranch south of Gillette. Yeah, there is on Highway 59.
yeah, there's the Durham Ranch, which is a
big ranch.
Big ranch, and there's actually they own multiple ranches across the United States. So they're huge bison providers. So.
Often you can see them alongside the highway.
Brian, not that hard for buffalo, just build a fortress.
Yeah.
That's pretty much true, yeah. So
Get out your pocketbook.
yeah, no doubt.
Fence
no
is
doubt.
expensive.
You don't have to be faster than a bull, you just have to be faster than your 9-year-old girl.
yeah.
That's I can't believe I didn't see that. You're gonna have to show that to me.
I haven't watched the video. I can't watch stuff like that. And she was fine. She's okay. I'm sure banged up and hurt, but she didn't die.
Yeah, just tough.
And obviously I wasn't there, so I don't know what the situation was, why the parents, and I have not watched the video, but I just read an article and it said that the parents left or ran and the girl
Was
thrown in the air.
not good.
So a cow can't really, a cow could throw you.
A cow can do a lot of things to you, yeah.
But a bison's way worse.
When I run into problems with cows, actually more often than not, is when we're in tight areas and they don't realize what they're doing. That's when I get knocked over more often than not, because if we're in a small corral or a tub or something like that, they don't have anywhere else to go. Even when I've been kicked by cows, it's almost like they kick out, and as soon as they feel that contact with you, they pull back.
Well, because
they're not kicking through you like a horse would. A horse would kick through you.
Yeah.
They seem to kick just to kind of like give you that idea. Just move away from me.
But you also have a different relationship with our cows, rather than like a stranger in their bubble. Like that's different.
Well, that sounds weird, but yeah, okay.
They have bubbles. Some cows have small bubbles. Bambi has
a 0 bubble.
She did not like it when you touched her udder.
But I've done that before, and she hasn't had a problem with it.
Well,
I think I just surprised her. Yeah, she was like, "Wait a minute, what are you doing? Buy me a drink first. Come on."
But there's some cows that you come within 20 feet of them, and they get all bouncy and kicky, and hey, look at me, stay away from me. So
Tommy asked a question here: how high can cows jump? We have a video.
High.
We have a video, and I honestly cannot tell you which one it is. Somebody might know. But I was moving some cattle down a fence line. They had gotten to the wrong fence, and one of the cows right in front of me just boop right over the fence, like a deer, just boop, boop. Right over the fence. And this shocked me. It's the first time I have I've seen it before, but the first time I was that close to see it. Yeah. And she just jumped that fence just like it wasn't even there. So
the younger they are, the bouncier they are.
They are.
When they get old, they get less bouncy, as we all do.
We need to put some stuff on the website about the store. Store hours are Tuesday through Friday, 2 to 6. Yeah. So if you happen to be in the area, you can stop on by. JB Weld asked any plans for 100,000 sub celebration. We were talking about that. Let's get there first. Yeah, but I honestly had the thought, like, what if we hit 100,000 subs the same day as Ranch Roundup?
Well, I think you're kind of asking a lot there.
Like, no, I'm not. I could ask. I can say let's see if we can figure out how to make that happen. Or even just before. It would be really cool to be able to celebrate at a Ranch Roundup.
Did it before Ranch Roundup, you're like, no, the day of.
Well, the day of would be much cooler, but if it was the day before, I wouldn't pout about it. But maybe if it was a week before, then that would give YouTube time to send us the whatever that doohickey they send.
That takes months.
Oh, does it? I don't have a clue. So, all right, let's look through some more questions here.
You're good with the hashtags, Houston Firebox. Did you read that one?
No, I did not. Where's hashtags? What am I looking for?
A super chat. No, wait, go back. Man, you're just not scrolling fast enough.
Okay.
We're way behind. Let's get caught up.
Flying girls flipped by Bison's Manor. Jeez. Thank you very much. Susan Chamberlain, $25 for the girls' room outside the store.
Oh, yeah, the bathroom.
Oh, the bathroom. There's one there. It's just
the customers have been spaced out a little more, but it never. Like I did try and eat today, and like today I was able to eat, but I was making I had a cheese quesadilla at 3:00, and I was like, I'm gonna make this, and somebody's gonna come. And like last week, every time I try to eat something, like I don't always get lunch before 2:00, and yeah, it's hard. It reminds me of my days when I used to waitress when I was in college, and be like, I have no tables, I'm gonna order food, and then you'd get slammed.
Yeah, exactly. Scott Winter asked what model 22 rifle that I've got in the Gator. I think it's a Marlin, if I remember right. I'm pretty sure it's a Marlin 22.
And cows can jump over the moon. Yes, can. Or a 5-foot fence.
If you let a herd of cattle live in the wild, are they well produced or not number ways? So if you took cows and let them go in the wild, I'm guessing just would they live? I imagine they would. I mean,
I think your mortality rate would be pretty high.
it would be, I think so, yeah.
They're domesticated. That's the reality, is they're domesticated animals. So.
Exactly. Question from Michael Brander, how did you start ranching? I'm just going to send you back. If you go to YouTube and you click on videos and you sort by date. And
oldest.
Oldest to newest, and then you'll find in the beginning there's a ton of videos
Video
about
number
how it started.
2 is our story.
Exactly.
Long time ago.
From Harry Dairyman, our Jersey heifer love jumping fences. Yeah, it's an incredible thing to see a cow that weighs 1,500 pounds just bounce over a fence like nothing and not touch the fence at all. So
yeah.
Of course, then they get older and then they look at that fence just like we do, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to drive down to the gate. I don't need to climb the fence. So, quick, I'll unsubscribe and resub on the day of Ranch Roundup. It's funny. I had a friend of mine that when he hit 100,000 on his channel, he did it on a live stream. He knew he was getting close, so he went live. And then he lost like 4,000 subscribers, just went away. And because everybody wanted to be that 100,000 subscribers. So he was like, oh, that didn't work. And then like it took forever to get to that 100,000 mark because it wasn't 4,000, but he lost like 1,000 subscribers because people wanted to be that.
I think when we were, did we hit 10 during a live stream or something?
We hit 10 during, I think it was 10 during a live stream. But it was the same way,
like everyone kept unsubscribing.
Yeah, we hit 10 and then it would be like 9,999.
Yeah.
Back up to 10 and then back and forth, yeah. It's better to let it happen about 3 o'clock in the morning. You just wake up and you go, hey, look, we hit 100,000, which is probably how it's going to happen, more than likely. So, I saw a yearling heifer jump 10 feet. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And they can long jump too, that's for sure.
Yeah, and heifers are bouncy. Like we had to put a gate up because they kept jumping over the freaking cattle guard. Like they're across the road. We always would keep heifers across the road and they kept jumping the cattle guard, and we would literally get one put back in and another one would just jump the cattle guard. So we had to put up a gate.
Yeah, exactly. Are the belt buckles numbered? That one from Steve Cameron. We do have belt buckles available on our website. They're the same as this one. This one's actually number 1. So yeah, they are numbered. And I haven't really had that many orders for them, so I haven't been keeping track of them. I don't even know what number we're on. I couldn't tell you. So, but you can check out our website. There are T-shirts and that kind of stuff there as well.
Honey.
So and honey and all kinds of good stuff.
Jerky soon. I won't sing, Brian. No, it's never gonna happen.
What?
Sing.
You're not.
No, the more you get to harass me about it, no.
And challenge coins. JB Weld brings up a good point. I've been really going over. I have gotten a ton of challenge coins from police departments and stuff like that over the last year or so. And I've been looking at them, going, yeah, I should do a challenge coin. We have to come up with a challenge though for it to get a challenge coin.
Drink a 7 and 7.
I don't know. Do you know the challenge coin thing in the military and how that works?
You're supposed to have a coin in your pocket all the time, and if you don't, you have to buy everybody a bear or something.
Yeah. So you could have the Wyoming Life challenge coin and just rake them in because nobody would have one.
Preg check a cow. What are you gonna do?
I don't know. You got to do something to get a challenge coin. We'll figure it out. Let's see here. How many calves are born on average? Well, that depends on how many cows you have.
However many pregnant cows.
Yeah, and mortality rate is usually a little bit less than 10%. So you'll lose a few, but eat a 1-pound hamburger at the Owl store.
No one can eat a pound of hamburger.
Oh, I bet you they could.
No. And it will cost $100.
It could be something that would be offered at the store, but that I feel bad because then you'd have to be here to get it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure something out.
I like you guys, but I'm not going to go cook a hamburger.
Every time somebody shows up, here's your hamburger. Try not to puke on my floor.
Right.
So we have the roundup coming up. You're going to start seeing some more videos about that as we get ready for that and stuff like that. We're kind of thinking about next year's roundup a little bit and how the time frame might change a little bit. But I saw Uliana and was talking about coming to next year's roundup. Yeah. So
it is a ticketed event. So if you guys don't have tickets, we're sorry. Please,
we are sold out.
Please don't show up.
Yeah, no tickets at the door type of thing. So
JP, well, my fat dad has his name on a few restaurants for the 1 pound challenge. Yeah, I mean, if people can do it, but I think more people fail, and I'm not wasting good hamburger, and I'm not having puke in my store.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Plus, you'd have to have some kind of sort of license to feed people, wouldn't you?
Well,
Yeah.
they couldn't pay for it, and yeah, I mean, I don't have an inspected commercial kitchen, so I am limited to what I can do and what I can't do. So.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, the ranch roundup looks like it's going to be fun. Obviously, we're going to change some things for next year, but we're gearing up for that. You're going to see more videos about that coming up. That's on August 24th. The 23rd, we actually have a live stream planned with a live studio audience, which should be a lot of fun too.
Eating 1 pound of kale. That's a lot of roughage. Like, kale's really light. Like
1 pound of kale?
That's a lot.
That would be.
I sold 20 bundles to the nonprofit this week for baskets, and it weighed 20 bundles of kale weighed
like 8 pounds or something.
Not 10 pounds.
No.
So yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of kale.
Yeah, that would be a lot of kale.
It was 2 muck tub full of kale, and it was like literally like 8 pounds of kale or something.
Nah, that's crazy.
So.
That's crazy. So let's see. I hope tell you not to eat a pound of kale. Yes. Fly Target asks how water rights work in Wyoming. Is it possible to irrigate more land for hay production? We actually talked about this not long ago, and I should do a video about how water works in Wyoming. We have coal mines in Wyoming. We have some weird laws about water because coal mines actually de-water areas to make coal or to harvest coal or however they dig it out of the ground or whatever they do with it. So the state of Wyoming, there's no such thing as water rights in the state of Wyoming. The state of Wyoming basically owns anything that's underneath the ground that has to do with water. If you irrigate over 1 acre of land, you have to have special permission from the state to irrigate. Mm-hmm. So technically, if your yard was over 1 acre, you couldn't water your lawn. I don't know why you'd want 1 acre for a lawn, but sounds like a lot of mowing to me. Yeah. But if you had a football field, let's say, and you wanted to water that, you would have to have permission from the state. And one thing that people don't realize is how much water it takes to irrigate. We did the math not too long ago, and I think it was
last year.
It was a 50-acre field, and to irrigate, just to get 1 inch of water, like a 1-inch rainstorm, was millions of gallons of water to cover that much area with 1 inch of water. So the state of Wyoming, obviously, especially where we're at with the aquifers and stuff like that, they were like, nope, there's pretty much no way that we could do that. Now there's ways around this silly stuff because we can pump out of a well into a pond.
A reservoir.
Yeah, and call that livestock water. And then we could pump out of, and we do that. And then we could pump out of that onto a field. But you have to look at, now you're double your pump costs, you've got, more infrastructure, more everything, and then it starts to get more expensive.
And there's only so much water underground too, and there's a lot in certain spots and stuff, but I mean, we've got wells that range from 35 feet down to 800 feet. It's very, very expensive to drill wells. Gilbert spent a ton of money drilling that 80-foot well.
80 foot.
800
foot well, yeah.
And then, to pump it, how many horse pump is in there?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. I have no idea how big of a pump is in there. And you run it, and the power bill, you get the power bill, and it's like, ooh, I forgot to turn off the pump. Yeah, run down there really quick and turn it off.
It's expensive. It's very, very expensive. You can collect rainwater.
The problem with rainwater is, for our system, is that we have very sandy soil. See, we have we're kind of have stacked up against us, but we have very sandy soil, so when we do get rain, it's into the soil, and now it's in the aquifer, it's in the water. Yeah. So,
and we don't have the surface area of buildings to collect. I mean, that's typically where rainwater comes from, and ponds and stuff, and lining ponds and
but the runoff that we catch, like if you look at the ponds that are full of water, they are filled up from snow melt because the ground's frozen. That water's not going into the ground; it's running into those ponds. And then, like this pond back here is still pretty full, but the ground was totally saturated from rain when it was filling up. So it's kind of a weird deal. We've had people say, dig a hole and line it with rubber or whatever.
It's all really, really expensive to have the quantity of water that we need, and a pivot is expensive, and pumps are expensive.
Yeah, and that's why you see a lot of irrigation happening along waterways and stuff like that, because you can either flood irrigate, which is a lot cheaper, but you can do that right out of the pond, which makes a lot of sense.
Over in Spearfish, not that far from us, they have a lot of irrigation, and there's irrigation canals that have been cut in the ground, and they've been there for years. You know, that infrastructure is already in place. We don't have that.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we missed a super chat.
We did. $5 super chat from Houston Firefox. You're saying that if you dug an acre pond and used rainwater catchment to fill it, the state would nail it. No, no.
You can do
If
that.
I could figure out how to get rainwater in it without it soaking into the ground,
Yeah.
you could do that. Now, but you'd have to line that pond, number one, because it would just soak through. And the ponds that we have that have water in them have been there for, we've talked about digging them deeper. We have neighbors that have went out and said, okay, I'm going to dig this pond deeper. And now the dang thing doesn't hold water because they dug down into new fresh soil, and now they've ruined ponds doing that.
Yeah, reservoirs and where water settles is, it looks simple. It's just like all the water settles there. There's a lot that goes on, and you know, water has settled in these places for years and years and years, and it's brought sediment with it. And with our sandy soil, like there's a lot going on underneath the water to make that water stay there.
When you go out into one of these ponds, I mean, it is a layer of mud and muck that's just holding that water in there.
If you follow us on Facebook, you see Mike found some muck.
Yeah, yeah. Did you post the video of getting out yet?
No, because you took video and I took video.
Yeah, we got to figure out.
Together,
I did get the tractor got buried.
Yeah.
I was moving hay and crossing this little tiny dried creek bed over and over and over again, moving hay. And then I went through it one time. Well, the first time I went through it, I was like, oh, this is getting a little sticky. And then I pushed my luck and went through it one more time. And then just got stuck right in the middle of it. So that was an exciting, very frustrating.
Yeah,
day.
JB Weld said they dump clay into ponds where I'm from, and it settles and it lines the ponds to keep water. Yeah, that's
a lot of times here, what they've done is they use, what's that crap? Bentonite?
Bentonite.
Yeah, they'll lay bentonite into ponds, and that forms like this slime on the bottom, which is a quick and easy way to do that. Of course, that's expensive too. Yeah, Ron just mentioned it. Bentonite is one way to do it. Gilbert actually used to put, we had water tanks that were cracked, and he would put bentonite in the bottom of the water tanks.
This weird slimy
Yeah,
stuff.
it's just.
And then if you ever decide that you want to undo that situation.
Oh, it's a mess.
Yeah.
And we've had cows, and Gilbert told me stories about ranchers using bentonite in ponds and stuff, and then the cows would get stuck in it, and you'd have issues with cows stuck in, because it's a lot stickier than mud. It's actually it's like a rock that just turns to slime type stuff.
It's it's like slimy.
Yeah, it's really kind of gross. But yeah, and it's just like having like really, really sticky clay.
Yeah.
And cows get hung up in that, and especially cows that aren't used to it. And all of a sudden you go out and put out a bunch of bentonite, and they're used to walking out into water, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, wait a minute, I'm out here, and now I can't get out.
Yeah, and clay, Ken, you're right, clay makes it slimy too. And yeah, and around our ponds and stuff, like it is a different type of soil than what's out like in our pasture, because that sediment has settled there for hundreds of years. The sediment has been running towards those reservoirs. So
yeah, water is something that we could talk about for hours, because it's just it's a valuable commodity, obviously, but for us it's it's like Nate from up in Montana.
Walker Farms.
Yeah, he was talking about it rained, and he was like, "What? There's this stuff falling out of the sky. What is this?" And they get 8 inches of rain up there. They have a different
8 to
soil.
10,
Yeah, they have a different soil structure than we have to deal with, and they're able to grow wheat and stuff like that, which always was funny, because I grew up there by Nate.
Yeah.
And
is it Nate?
Nick. Yeah.
Welker Farms.
And we got 8 inches of rain, but people grew wheat like crazy, and down here we get, but a lot of it comes with timing and soil structure, and there's
geography.
Yeah.
Where it's flat, it's easier to farm. We're very hilly, even though it doesn't look like that. Like we are very hilly. So yes, it's Nick. Yeah.
Nick.
Thank
there
you,
go. Yeah.
William.
So I haven't met him yet.
You should do that.
I should do that. I've talked to him a little bit, but I've never actually had a real conversation
you guys have
with him.
Instagram commented on stuff, but yeah, water is and you just got to think everything is a trade-off. So like if we pump water to water fields, we have less water to water the cows with. Like we only have so much natural resources, and we have to decide where to use those. And yes, if you, in theory, some of the water you put on the fields ends up back in the aquifer beneath the soil, but I mean, you ranchers worry about pumping our wells dry here. Like that's a real
We've
concern.
had that. Like we have, so the house across the road, the pump itself hangs at like 22 feet. For our house, it's a 35-foot well. You go another 100 yards away, and there's a well that's 400 feet deep. Yeah. And it's just, we've had, you will be filling up something in the sink, and you get a bubble of air, and you're like, oh crap, that might be the end of that well.
Sometimes it does get really bubbly, especially like if we have droughts and stuff like in the fall, like it will get kind of bubbly, and we'll push more air through our system, and we all get a little nervous about that.
We get very nervous because, you go out and start drilling a well, and I don't know what it costs to drill a well nowadays, but it's, they charge you by the foot, and if you're 300 foot deep and it's $20-some a foot, you're getting into some serious cash when it comes to digging wells. So it's always fun.
Firefox says another super chat, another worthy cause, hashtag cows stuck in bentonite. Yes, they do.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. So. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on tonight? I thank you guys for keeping us moving in a direction. Obviously, like I said, we were just kind of wanting to just kind of relax and chill tonight and hang out with you guys and be able to chit chat back and forth. I know we're not able to get to every single question and we're not able to answer every single thing, but it is nice to just kind of have a back and forth a little bit. Still wondering if the quality of hay was affected by the hailstorm. That one from Cece. Oh yeah.
They have straw.
Yeah, it's straw. So this is my little hay total sheet. I know you can't see it very well, but I have it broken down by each individual field. And so the fields that got the hail are the fields that are in red, and it says hail bad. So those ones, there's a field that's right here by the house, not too far from where we got hailed out. And that field had 3,111 pounds per acre is what we harvested off of that field. The very next one down, which got the hail, was knocked by a third, down to 1,000.
And those are usually pretty comparable.
Those are pretty close to what we look at in that field. So, yeah, it took it down by a third, just getting that hail. And, it's still, what we got then was just basically roughage and matter, that just biomass, not even really, biomass, I guess, but not good stuff. All this stuff will end up
I have to reevaluate our mineral and protein.
Yeah. Once we do some testing and figure out where that hay sits, protein-wise, then we can figure out where we're going to end up having to feed extra protein and extra mineral and all that kind of stuff. So it's always, and that's one thing, it all comes down to the cows. So we're just trying to keep the cows healthy. So they can eat straw, they can eat all this stuff that fills up their belly, keeps them warm, keeps their digestive tract moving. But also you have to make sure they have the vitamins and minerals that they need to keep that calf going, because that's what it ultimately comes down to. And then we save our better hay will actually come later on in the season.
It's going to be, you're going to have to stack according to where it came from and feed differently depending on the time of the year. So they can eat lower quality hay November, and hopefully, then they might have to forage longer this year. So maybe December, January, we start feeding, they eat the lower quality hay, and we work towards our better quality hay as we get into calving. So
exactly.
Some super chats.
From Harry Dairyman, I just love that. If you ever make it to Australia, you're welcome to come look around our 500 cow dairy farm.
I would love to.
We grow all our own feed and beast all our own cattle.
I don't know what that means.
That must be an Australian thing. That would be so cool. I would love to have the time to go to Australia. That would be, if I just had the time to go to Australia and I got off the plane and I was like, yay, Australia, get back on the plane, go back. I'd be happy with that, actually. Not that anybody wants to sit on a plane for that long.
No.
But.
Do we have to bring the kids?
Yeah, probably.
We have to
somebody sent us some Australian money one time, and the kids loved it.
That?
The kids stole it. It was like an Australian $10 bill.
It's very pretty.
It was very pretty. It was like cellophane. You could see through it, and I'm sure it's in somebody's Monopoly box now or something. JB Weld, $50 towards a bale. You guys inspire many. It's
JB Weld, you're very generous.
You are.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Just the other life, this got me brainstorming, thinking about how to store water for field watering. Yeah. I mean, we've even, and it's not something that we look at and go, can't be done, just give up. I mean, we've went through saying, hey, can we do storage water tanks there when the what were they? They were putting water in methane.
Oh, in the methane wells.
In methane wells for a while when methane was kind of going downhill, and they were trying to save the methane, and so there was a ton of these.
Trying to re-water the bacteria that produce the methane.
So there was tons of these tanks available, and we started looking into, can we get some of these tanks, because they were selling them dirt cheap, and then put them out and fill them with water and be able to water out of these tanks. And I think they were like 5,000-gallon tanks or some ridiculous number.
And what do you fill them with?
But yeah, we were like, what do we fill them with? And then, how we'd have to refill them, 3 or 4 times a day or whatever else. It's just crazy trying to think of the logistics behind all of it. I mean,
this isn't like revolutionary idea. Like, people are storing water.
I think that, it's easy. I got an email, which was a very nice email this week from a gal in Kentucky who basically told me that, in Kentucky, they don't, they managed to get their place to where they weren't feeding hay at all. Mm-hmm. Awesome. You don't have to buy hay. You don't have to put up hay. You don't have all that machinery. You're able to graze and rotational graze and all that kind of stuff. Wonderful. That's Kentucky. So if you look at every place is different. So every farmer, rancher, grocery store owner, it doesn't matter what the heck you do. Yeah. Everybody has their own challenges based on where you're at. Mm-hmm. And honestly, like, I would never go to somebody in North Carolina and say, hey, here's what you need to do. Yeah. Because I don't know. I don't know how it works there. So it's very cool to be able to educate yourself and figure out how things work in different places. Because that's...
I have friends that killed 200 acres of hayfield this year, and they sold their hay equipment, and they went 100% rotational grazing. They're terrified.
Yeah.
And I asked them straight up, what happens if in October, we get feet of snow and the cows cannot reach the forage that you've planted? And mm-hmm. Treasure said, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll deal with it when it comes. So, it's being done in Campbell County. I think we're going to see more and more people doing it. And we're not, like, everyone's like, do rotational grazing, do Gabe Brown. Like, we're not opposed to this. It's all very... It costs a lot of money. We talk about it in the podcast somewhere. It all costs a lot of money. There's a lot of unknowns that haven't been figured out. And, like, I'm sorry, but we're not the bravest people in the world. So we're going to let some other people try it specific to our county. And we're going to see how it works, kind of a situation. So, and it's not just an easy, like, go plant cover crops and you're going to be fine. Like, you still have to have enough moisture for those cover crops to grow. And there's years where we don't get enough spring rain and snow melt to have mm-hmm. crops germinate. So, yeah.
So the basic gist of it this year, like, if we kept every single cow that we have on the ranch, we would still need about 200 tons more of hay. Mm-hmm. That's not going to work. So it's and everybody, I get a lot of emails and stuff from folks. They're bashing on me saying, you need to figure out how to pay for that hay because reducing your herd size is not a good thing. Sometimes it is. I mean, you get old cows. You have you have cows that don't get pregnant. You've got cows that are, we've kept cows back that I've looked at and said, we probably could get rid of her, but let's keep her another year. So this kind of, honestly, kind of is a good thing because it forces you to make some decisions that if you're a really nice guy, you don't want to make. So I think that it's not a horrible thing. But, people tell me, sell a tractor. Well, yeah, I could sell a tractor, but then I have a tractor break down. Now I can't put up hay.
We had 2 tractors break down last year, and we were down to 1 tractor. Mm-hmm. I saw that too. Somebody was like, just sell one. Do you need 3 tractors? No, but yes. Steve Cameron had $20 super chat.
Oh, thank you, Steve. Getting paid to watch Owl. Heck yeah, man.
Thank you.
I hope you're making $20 an hour. You're covering the taxes, I guess.
Steve, thank you. Jamie, well, the early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese. The owl method of letting others flop and see it. We'll see in a couple of years how some of this stuff works. And we're dryland farming. And even like Gabe Brown's method, they get a few more inches of rain, and their soil conditions are different than ours are too.
Yeah. And a lot of times when that rain comes, one thing that, people have a program, and that may work where they're at. But people that come to me and say, you need to do what Gabe Brown's doing. And we've met Gabe and great guy, but it's not the same everywhere you go. Yeah. Things are going to be changing and we may be doing what Gabe is telling us to do, but we've just modified it for our own situation.
There's specifics within Gabe Brown and Joe Soliton and rotational grazing and Temple, what's her name?
Oh, Temple. Well, she's more cattle handling.
Yeah, but people tell us how to move cows with her techniques and stuff too, which we do some of that. We just don't talk about it and stuff. But there's aspects of all of those people there. their program works for where they're at, and there's a buffer zone too where it's like, yeah, it's super easy, I can implement this, our conditions are similar, a few tweaks. We have to make a lot more tweaks. There's things that might happen in the future that will have aspects of those programs, but yeah, we're going to let some other people in the county see how they round up 200 acres of hayfield. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do that.
I remember one year when Gilbert was still alive, we had a field that he thought was root bound.
Yeah.
And he said, go down there and rip up that field. And I'm going through this nice, beautiful hayfield going, oh, God, I hope this doesn't just really...
And he disked this field that we get the best acreage of. He disked it 1 year before we were married. Like, I came out to the ranch for one reason, and they had tore that field up. And it was too wet when they had disked it. And it looked like they were farming. And it came back just fine. Like, I mean, it's still our best hayfield that we have. So if we could just get 3,000 pounds an acre everywhere, like, we'd be fine.
We'd be
so
set, yeah.
if we can replicate what's in that field, and somebody asked a while ago too, how often do you reseed? We reseeded in 2012, got no rain. That seed will sit dormant. We did see some stuff this year come up in other fields that we had reseeded that were like, oh, this wasn't here before. That could have been.
Yeah, it's funny. 2012, or 2012 years ago, we reseeded, and for a huge amount of money. That next year was nothing. It was just like, well, we wasted that money. Yeah. But now we're starting to see some stuff come up. It's like, hey, there's some needle grass. Where did that come from? Yeah. Oh yeah, we seeded that, 8 years ago. Yeah. So, kind of weird. But anyway, so we've been chit chatting here for an hour already. This is supposed to be a quick
one. I didn't feel good.
I know, right?
Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Yes, very much so. Chris Wilson, even the snow in Wyoming varies. Yeah. Edgerton. Oh, you're in Edgerton? Holy smokes! I do not know anybody that lives in Edgerton.
Oh, don't you know? My mom and dad almost moved there back in 1979.
Yeah,
during the oil boom. I almost grew up there. My mom tells me that every time we drive through there in the car together. You almost grew up here. Thank goodness.
Edgerton is a town, and honestly, I've never seen any more of the town besides just the road that runs through it, the paved road. I think
that's all there is.
There could be more. I don't know. We'd have to ask Chris.
It's almost a ghost town anymore. I was telling you when we went through Casper the last time about all the oil wells that were in Edgerton and Midwest and what it used to look like, and you're like, huh, never would have known that.
Yeah, very cool place though. Charlie wants to know how old am I? 42. 42?
How old am I?
I'm somewhere in there.
You're 43.
Am I? Oh my gosh. Hey, Erin, you just almost grew up. She just wanted to remind you. Don't you love parents? How they my mom does the same thing. Like, she'll get fixated on something. Like, I'll get something for Christmas that I liked when I was like 8. And she's like, oh, you used to really like these. And I'm like, okay. It's so weird. Parents are funny to me, and we're probably going to be the same way. So,
yeah, there's an airport in Gillette, Houston Firebox.
Yep, there sure is. So anyway,
don't you remember, Gilbert, when Charlie landed an airplane out here?
Yep, Charlie.
Heard that story a lot.
Yeah, we heard that one a lot. Yeah, an airplane landed on the ranch.
We're gonna tell. Do you remember when that cow jumped over the fence like a deer?
Yeah, but we have video for that. I can just be like, refer to video number 293.
Do you think we'll tell our kids stories, or do you think we'll just be like, go watch the videos?
Just go watch YouTube. I'm going to take a nap. I don't have time for stories. It may very well turn out that way. So, anyway, thank you very, very much for coming and hanging out with us. I know that we... sometimes we get off on a rant, but we do appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
Yeah, we will solve the grass problem. It's not an overnight easy fix.
No, and that's the thing,
this
too.
This is a 10 or 15-year battle that we're on here.
And we talk about, like diversification on the ranch and stuff like that. And I can tell you, like, if we were relying on just ranching and the income from ranching, I don't even know a fence would get fixed around here, honestly, to tell you the truth. Like, by doing different things, and everybody always, well, what's the secret to ranching? It's not ranching. That's the secret to ranching. Figuring out something else that you can do to support your ranching addiction and habit, and probably a 12-step program if you can. Have a great night. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you again on Sunday with a brand new video. Also, really quick, we had a survey about switching the live stream over to Sunday night.
Check that for a few
I don't know where that sits, but you can. I think you can head on over to our Facebook page.
Yeah, we didn't pin it, so you're gonna have to scroll.
Yeah, we talked about moving the live stream, tonight's live stream, to Sunday nights. If that was easier for people, you can go there and vote. No guarantees what's going to happen there, but.
We got to regroup now that we're done with haying.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to kind of figure out some new things to do. So Sunday 1, Steve said, but.
Oh, thanks, Steve.
So yeah, you can head over there. You can vote there. Thank you, Matt, for another super chat.
Thank you.
And I'm going to go look for that 12-step program. And in the meantime, we'll see you again. Have a great week. And thanks for joining us in our Wyoming Life. I have to keep looking at the camera while I try to find the button. I need a big fat button that's just like stop.